So the Donald Trump clown show continues, and today we're talking about failed birthday parties and international trade. These were the headlines today. Trump's military birthday parade was a gross failure. However, if you're watching right-wing media, you might think it was a success. This is Benny Johnson saying, wow, all the troops and attendees just saying happy birthday to President Trump. You actually got to hear this for yourself. Have a listen. All right, well, happy birthday, Mr. President. How do you keep a straight face doing this stuff? And the right wing media, they have to struggle to try to paint this as being positive. But honestly, when I look at the footage coming from the parade, and we saw some of the crowd estimates, etc., it looked pretty bad. I mean, they planned for a much larger crowd size than what showed up. And honestly, guys, it wouldn't. I mean, one, yes, it's funny, but two, it wouldn't be quite so funny if we didn't spend money on this stuff. If he just used his own money. Unfortunately, this is taxpayer dollars, but it's basically an embarrassment. People were bored. Trump himself was bored. Many of his cabinet members were just like staring, looking at his phone, etc. You can see this stuff. It was a disaster, completely a disaster. And kind of what they're doing right now is they're claiming that, what is this? 250,000 patriots came to the event despite the empty fields. I mean, this is just like Trump's inauguration. He tried to claim that it was like the largest in history kind of stuff. But I'll just say this. I'll let you guys make up your mind for yourself. What do you think about the birthday song? Was that a success? What do you think about this? Does that look like 250,000 people to you? I'll let you be the judge. I'll say this, though. I like hearing from those of you in the community, and it sounds like there is much larger turnouts outside of Trump's birthday parade, basically at the No Kings rally. For example, in our community, people were saying, I lived in a rural town of 20,000 people. According to police estimates, over 4,000 of us showed up to No Kings protests. And I'm highlighting this one first because there are several small towns out there where people are saying, hey, Chris, I live in a red district, and we had like massive turnout in talking about small towns. Let alone the big towns, right? So here's another state here, Vermont. This person says 37,000 people protested in Vermont. That's probably larger than Trump's crowd. Who knows how many people really did go to Trump's thing? I've heard various estimates. It could be as low as 10,000, maybe 20,000 to be lucky, but it was nowhere near the 250. I don't think so. Laura Loomer, one of the right wingers, then instead of talking about Trump's failed birthday party, it got to start attacking Minnesotans and stuff like that. What is she saying here? She's saying a man holding a sign that says 8647, tough on orange stains, is preparing to march to the White House. This is the same slogan posted on social media by former FBI Director James Comey. So I guess she's directing this to Comey and the Secret Service as if this is some really big threat. I'll let you guys be the judge. Benny Johnson is trying to claim that Democrats are violent, etc. Prove that Democrat Party has become the domestic terrorist organization. These are essentially what right-wing people try to do all day. And it's interesting when they get called out on it. This is the libertarian saying, hey, Grok, can you fact check BJ's claims? Start by confirming if right or left ideologies have influenced more violence too. This was actually Grok's answer. It's kind of interesting. It says some claims are inaccurate. Of course, ours coming from Benny. And get down to the bottom. It says data shows right-wing violence, e.g., Capitol riots, is more frequent with 67% of 2015 to 2020 incidents versus 20% on the left, per CSIS. Both sides contribute, but individual motives often blur ideological lines. Oftentimes, as I always tell you guys with any of these kind of situations, is I do my best to prevent you the facts, and I'll give you my opinion, but I always leave it for you to make up your own mind. What's fascinating though is when you watch right-wing people is like they have to like figure out a ways to always turn everything positive, everything's going great, you're all winning all the time, stuff like that. I just tell you the truth, to be perfectly frank. I also want to mention this. Someone in the community had a really good point regarding whether or not you should go to a protest, and this was their point of view. I thought it was a really good one. This is from 3 hours ago from WM Luna. Luna says, I personally don't like being embedded in big arena crowds. Okay, and for some people, if you say, hey, did you go to the No Kings protest or not? Some people, they just don't want to go necessarily to a big crowd, which I completely understand, right? And that's why there's different opportunities for you to protest if you like. This person says, I like our local roadside protests off grass with sidewalk areas and close by available parking. A great turnout with all ages present at the two I've gone to so far. No corny chanting, speeches, marching, bongo drums, bands blocking traffic with dancing or crazy costumes. And if you do like the crazy costumes, the bongo drums and speeches, that's totally fine as well. I'm just saying there's more than one way to show support for your fellow citizens. If you guys see what I'm saying here, that's why I mentioned this one, because people don't talk about this stuff enough. If the mega crowds are keeping you at bay, right? If large crowds aren't your thing, just find a location in a less populated area that doesn't include extra festivities, ambulation, or gathering en masse at a park or blocked off area. Also, that doesn't run for hours and hours. 2 to 3 hours is good. Just wanted to make people aware that there are options, so don't keep yourself from joining the movement. Ours have been fun and positive. And again, do what makes sense for you guys. For me, I've been to large protests, small protests, any number of things. I've been to political rallies, all this stuff. I'll just say this, when you go out to these events, it's always just good to, one, just talk to your neighbors, right? Just in general, not necessarily about politics, but just talk to your neighbors. Hey, how you doing? What's going on, right? Everything's great. Enjoy the weather, showtime. And actually, I'll mention this one as well, because I went to protests quite frequently, actually, back in 2016. It was a long time ago already. That was Trump's first time around, but for me, it was actually really good to see families out. And I think it's good that parents show kids, it's like, hey, we really care about healthcare. Hey, we really care about your education, these kind of things. So, and it's just a positive environment. It's probably very different than what you guys imagine. If you watch right-wing media, they'll make it sound like everyone's, violent and we're all hating on each other, etc. It's actually not like that at all. And again, find an event that makes sense for you. So I wanted to point that out. What's going on with Trump these days? And not only is he throwing birthday parades, etc. They're actually now talking about banning more countries from, I guess, travel to the USA. You can see here, Trump administration considers adding 36 countries to travel ban list. And I can't remember the exact number that is banned right now, but there's already one ban in place, and this is actually considering more bans. The list, it's quite long. I'm just throwing it on screen. Includes like Cambodia, Cameroon, Congo, Djibouti, there's a Dominican there, Nigeria, just a whole bunch of them, Senegal. A lot of it's concentrated in like Central Asia or Africa, as you guys can see. And I want to show you also what the Trump people are up to. They're also looking at getting rid of laws with the SEC, meaning that the Trump people want to deregulate financial markets and financial transactions. I always mention this stuff with you guys because I think this is really the important stuff. I understand it's fun to laugh at the parades and stuff like that, and we do talk about the birthday stuff, but this is where the really the most important stuff is. I mean, like the real money. It's money. And what do Trump people want to do? Well, basically, they want to make it so first, fire as many people in the SEC as possible so that we can encourage, people like Elon Musk to insider trade all day, every day, right? We want to make it so that people can scam regular mom and pop investors, right? Cheat you with penny stocks or cryptocurrency, any number of these things. And in my opinion, regulation in the SEC is really important. I think protecting retail investors is a good thing, but obviously, if you're one of the scammers, which are unfortunately just so ever present in Donald Trump's administration, they want to delete any sort of watchdogs possible. Listen to this. This is one of Trump's people talking about stable coins. Listen to what he has to say.
Because the Senate is voting to advance legislation setting up a regulatory framework for payment stablecoins. A new report this morning shows companies like Walmart and Amazon are looking to set up their own stablecoins. We've spoken with Congressman French Hill about this, and of course Cynthia Lummis also working on it in the Senate. What should that stablecoin legislation look like?
Well, the good news is just yesterday we had a historic day in the Senate. We passed the first hurdle to getting the Genius Act, the stablecoin legislation, passed next week, which means that very quickly we'll see democratization happen around this country. What does that mean? For the Walmart folks or Target folks shopping, we'll see costs coming down, which means prices will stabilize as well. This is good news for the economy, good news for single moms like the one that raised me, good news for seniors on fixed income. Every time we see innovation in America's marketplace, it means prices come down because competition goes up. Great news for all of us.
Okay, there's a long pause there because I think even the reporter's like, what the heck are you talking about? Honestly, I don't even think he knows what he's talking about. So I think it's Tim Scott, Senator. Basically, if you don't know what stablecoin is, it's like form of cryptocurrency that's supposed to be tracking close to the dollar. And the idea that he's trying to make is like, hey guys, if we have just more crypto, then suddenly all your prices go down at Walmart. Like, how does it even make sense? And if we have innovation in crypto and basically internet money scams, your prices will go down at Walmart. It's like, what? Um, Guys, this is the kind of nonsense that the Republicans are trying to do. They're trying to delete the SEC. They're trying to push, cryptocurrency, et cetera. And when you listen to their logic, and if you can understand his logic, please let me know. How does having more monkey coins and doggy coins and froggy coins and sheep coins, how does that lower your prices at Walmart? Please explain that one to me. Basically, all this crypto stuff is ways to make money laundering easier, faster, and uses up a bunch of energy and doesn't really produce anything other than the people who got in first are going to benefit. And you always get hate comments, from people who, hey, Chris, I got in first. What are you talking about? It's making me lots of money, right? You got in first. And so then your goal right now is to sell everyone else on whatever nonsense stuff that it is. On top of that, the U.S. is absolutely getting clobbered by China right now in building relationships. As Trump is closing down travel from other countries, as he's pissing off our allies, essentially, as he's throwing tariffs to halt global trade. You have this. This just came out today. China to remove tariffs on African imports to boost trade. It's really, really different, right? I mean, I just want to show you the stark contrast. And I'll be frank with you guys, I want USA to do well. I think it's a big, big mistake for USA to disengage with countries in Africa or various places. In my opinion, I think USA could have a very positive influence around the world, right? Be it with USAID, help with making sure that we have global health initiatives everywhere, which I think is a good thing. This is something that you want to keep track of.
Milestone would you like to mark as the next defining moment of China-Namibia relations down the road?
Our two countries have come a long way. Namibia and China's relationship goes far before Namibia's independence. We have put economic content to our relationship. Our trade is growing. China is participating in almost all the sectors in our country. At the bilateral level, we have concluded a number of bilateral agreements that are basically bringing out a win-win outcome between our two countries, especially also including at the multilateral level. We are cooperating with China because we believe that South-South cooperation is mutually beneficial for our two countries.
So in my opinion, this is what the USA should be doing, should be building relationships around the world, should be talking away the same, this person's from Namibia, basically saying, hey, when we build relationships in this situation with China, we were looking for win-win relationships. Instead, Trump's people are like Lutnick saying, oh, we're going to try to win, we're going to defeat you, it's America first. How listen to what Lutnick has to say about this.
What's the tariff on bananas? Americans, by the way, love bananas. We buy billions of them a year. I love bananas. What's the tariff on bananas?
The tariff on bananas would be representative of the countries that produce them.
And what's that tariff?
Generally 10%.
Correct, 10%. Walmart has already increased the cost of bananas by 8%.
But as countries do deals with us, that will go to zero. As countries do deals with us, that will go to zero.
But the cost is on the American consumer now and on the businesses with the confusion now. Mr. Secretary, I believe you know better. I believe you recognize that a trade deficit is not something to fear. I believe you know that predictability, stability is essential for businesses. I wish you would show that truth to this administration. And I yield back.
Time of the gentlelady is expired.
Would you mind, Mr. Chairman, if I make one quick comment to the end? Would that be okay?
I'm sorry?
Would you mind if I make one quick comment to the representative?
Sure. Please.
There's no uncertainty if you build in America and you produce your product in America, there will be no tariff.
We can't
so
produce
the concept
bananas in
of
America.
building in America and paying no tariff is very, very clear.
We cannot
Fighting
build
for
bananas in America.
And as you guys probably know, it's just not feasible for us to produce a whole bunch of bananas in USA. And the thing is with the Lutnick stuff, they just act like we can make everything in USA and we don't need any other countries at all. But I disagree. I completely disagree. The facts speak otherwise. Let me give you another example. This was a fascinating article recently in Bloomberg. It says, soon your orange juice will have even less real orange in it. And the basic idea is, let's say the crops of oranges aren't so good. Some of the solutions out there from USA or otherwise would be like, hey, let's just put more artificial flavors in there. Or, hey, let's deregulate the orange juice industry so that what we call, quote, real orange juice can change, right? Do you guys understand this stuff? And you guys know this. Food labeling in USA is always a bit questionable. You're like, huh? It says, organic. Does it really mean organic? It says 100% orange juice. Does it really mean 100%? Because, like, for example, you could claim 100% real oranges, but what if you're only using the peels and not the inside, right? Do you guys see what I'm saying here? But this is something that I really want to talk to you guys about, how the Trump people, in my opinion, are going in the wrong directions and sending the USA in the wrong way. And I just want to show you there are other ways to govern the nation, and there are other ways to manage global trade and global partnerships. So that's my thoughts on this stuff. I want to hear yours, and I'll catch you all in the next video.